question, did Team Freedom had what it takes to bring it back? To bring it back versus Superstars, and they did. So we're heading into game number 4. I think a big thing is to go back to some of the conversations we've had with Insomnia before. They have a really great team atmosphere, environment there. It's not toxic at all. They're all willing to just take, you know, whatever they need to work on and grow with it.
Yeah, and it is working, at least in the last game. I would put a lot of that coming down to the draft, but they did play well. They did a very good job, especially Insomnia with his side soak, making the proper burrow. So now it just comes down to, if we see a little bit more fair of a draft, can they still keep up this momentum that they gained on game number 3?
Well, we are going to be seeing very soon whether Superstars wants to pick the Battleground. Generally, they like first pick, but there have been a couple of times in their history. One time they picked Braxis so that they could show Gall. One other time they picked Dragon versus Tempo. But they're going to stick with picking first pick, and Team Freedom will be taking us to Towers. But it's a Battleground we know that Superstars has liked as well.
Yeah, Towers of Doom is very much a comfort place here for both the teams. Especially, you know, I think of Superstars. When I think of Towers of Doom, I think of their team purely just based on the fact that when the map originally released, a lot of these guys absolutely adored the map, would prioritize it higher than every other North American team. So Freedom taking them there, but it's not going to be weird or uncomfortable for either sides of the battlefield. A lot of it's going to just come down to the drafting.
Especially globals.
Yeah.
If Superstars are headed toward what we saw a lot of from Gale Force Esports on Towers of Doom, just full focus on every single global they could get their hands on, then Freedom needs to react quickly and make sure that they can also pick some of those up.
Superstars has to ask themselves if they wanted to rid of the global or a shielder. Dahak is out. I feel like Freedom's still going to rid of the tasks. There they go.
Falstad.
First pick Falstad on the side of Superstars incoming. The fact that they took more than... Oh, wow! They ban out the global, but they don't prioritize it. There's no world where Freedom doesn't take Falstad, right? I know they love their comforts, but come on.
But come on.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be Falstad for Superstars, so yes.
This is...
Is this a ploy? Are Superstars
that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because if you ban the Dahaka and you first pick the Mount Fury, and in theory you could then enforce the fact that they think that Lucio should be picked this high, and then that forces one pick. So then what's the other pick that they think they need to where they can't risk the trade-off into picking up the Falstad, then giving that for free over to Superstars?
ETC.
You think? That's it? It could be it. That if they take that, then they either lose out on the support, they either lose out on the range global, or they lose out on their main warrior. And it's just pick one, and we're going to make sure we get one, deny the other. If so, top-tier mind games being played here, and things just out the window compared to the comfort we knew before. That is a Arthas Abbey here for Freedom.
This seems prepped. Freedom picked this Battleground.
Yeah.
They open with Arthas Abathur.
I like it. I personally, I love Arthas with a hat. I think I love Arthas cologne.
Yes, double Arthas is
terrifying.
How do you deal? Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the... So when you look at what makes a good Abathur clone, it's what's one of the better heroes untalented, and the default kit of Arthas is one of the strongest in the entire game, so he just doesn't need the talents. Like, his talents make him go from good to great, really, is how I would put it there. Especially now that they integrated his 13 into default part of his kit, suddenly nobody gets an attack.
No.
Even if you're just a clone, not even counting the bonus damage he outputs. So I really enjoy that here for Freedom. That still gives the Falstad, though, to Superstars.
Probably. Let's fly.
Zeratul for Goku. Oh my. Wow. But they were afraid of the dog. My brain hurts, man.
And the Falstad ban from Freedom. Again, I don't think, well, maybe.
Fake could play it. Fake could play it.
Fake could play it. Yeah, it's not about... For Superstars, I'd say for the most part, it's not about what they can play, but what they're wanting. I would think that maybe they don't want that, but it could be Faye switching over to Falstad instead of Vala.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, I gotta take a mini. I gotta figure this out. I'm obviously missing something really big in my brain.
Is it the brain?
Yeah, I might be missing that. That might be it. It's...
I'm just kidding.
It's
Ball and ban. Wow.
And then the Greymane removed. So the Dahaka, he provides the 1v1 and he provides the global, and he's a decent double of warrior. So if you rid of him, you're worried about his solo lane. Not that important on Towers of Doom, but it's semi-relevant. You're worried about the global, but you didn't pick that up, so you obviously didn't care. You didn't even ban out the next global in your next wave.
Is it just fear of multiple globals? Like, we'll handle one?
That could be it. And Zeratul is a soft counter to the false ad, so letting it go over. His kill potential onto false ad most of the time is very, very good.
Freedom play false ad, but not very much, too. It might be that they know that Freedom is obviously willing to play Dahaka. They played it last game, but do they play false ad?
I mean, that's true. You know, it could be a series of calling out of lack of hero pools on one side, and when that happens, I think that's neat. It's one of those things that it only works so far, to the point where I often I ignore that trend just purely based on the fact that, you know, if Superstars keeps rising as a team in North America and we were to see them internationally play, that you no longer can be like, I bet you can't play this hero. It just doesn't work out.
Lunara, Anu Barak. I think Anub to dissuade Li Ming. What do you think?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, from Zeratul too. The route follow-up into a Li Ming reset city is a lot harder, and it pairs extremely well with the Arthas. Arthas and Noob are one of the deadliest double warriors in the entire game. So now Superstars are gotta find something to be able to self-sustain and deal with that double warrior dive, but then also the terror that is Lunara on the other side. They could get away. I was going to say with a double support, but with Zarya, you can't. Not with Zarya and already the committed Zeratul. It would be too melee-centric, so they can't go into the double support we've seen so frequently.
Yeah, someone ranged, probably another warrior.
I really like a Tyrael. Like a Tyrael Fawcett I'd love. Now I really want a Tyrael. Oh, man. Who's going to save that sweet, sweet Sergeant Hammer from all that dive? Zarya and Zeratul, I don't know if that's going to be enough. That's going to force a void so quickly on the side of Superstars. But for the first time in a long while, we see a composition in North America that can force advantages outside of the objective, and that makes me excited.
Do you want to go into that more?
It's just that Hammer is what I consider to be the replacement to Sylvanas when she got nerfed so heavily that it got to the point where Syl was a hero that when you got ahead, you were like, well, I just disable all your structures and suddenly I can get farther ahead. It's
a win at 10.
Yeah, exactly. It's a win harder hero. Hammer's the same thing. She just doesn't stop the damage output, but because she can outrange those structures, she can force problems outside the map objective. She accents every map objective the same way Sylv does, but when it's not up, if you have that upper hand, like a 13 or a 16, you're like, how can I force this? My opponent's not going to do anything. You go post up and just start shooting stuff until they look at you and either they give up a major objective or they lose their lives, you know, one of the two.
Once she gets Giant Killer too, she'll be very effective versus the double warrior frontline of Team Freedom.
My biggest fear here is the double Arthas and a Anu Barak all have so much die potential onto the Sergeant Hammer, and Varian's not very good peel. He's decent. Zarya's decent on survivability, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. It's very intimidating, and I believe Sergeant Hammer's level 1 does not proc off slows, only off stuns, silences, snares.
It's stuns and roots.
Stuns and roots. Yeah. So if no Howling Blast is ever used, it doesn't matter.
She never gets resistant.
She never gets the resistant.
But if you want to dive on her, you're going to be diving probably with Burrow, Impale.
Well, like okay, for the Anu Barak. Yeah, for the Anu Barak, yes. But for the double Arthas, you don't have to. And that's a problem for her ability to just stand there and retreat, because that's what you expect. It's especially in the Murdens. You're like, you can't do anything until you stun me, like cripple my damage output, and they don't have the tools to be able to do that here.
It does seem like the Zeratul pick will be completely defensive Void Prisons.
Yeah,
which
almost
we have
always
seen from teams before. Yeah, there's no Wombo really off of it. They have Twilight Dream, but it is full-on Protect the Hammer status here for Superstars.
Yeah, it's just whether or not the voids to be able to save Sergeant Hammer are effective across the board is really what it comes down to. It should be able to save her, but it's not about just keeping her alive. You know, it's not saving Private Sergeant Hammer, but it's going to be a bit more of a, is that worth the cooldown? Is that worth the cooldown of the Void and how many tools it takes to be able to keep her alive? Because suddenly everybody else will be so low in HP that they still end up losing the fight.
Well, let's head in to Towers of Doom for game number 4 with these crazy drafts between Team Freedom and Superstars.
Another thing I really enjoy about the draft for Superstars versus that of Freedom is the fact that Freedom have an Abathur, which is weak early game. Sergeant Hammer, direct counter to that. Talked about what she can do outside of the objective itself. But then also the fact that Abathur wants to control the bottom half of the map through mines and just manipulation of the map itself by having that pseudo-global he kind of provides. And Hammer kind of just doesn't care because she'll post up in the same lane and be able to outmatch him there.
Yeah, I feel like the few times we have seen Abathur on Towers of Doom, it's not as easy for him to continue his siege. So it's up to the other members of Team Freedom to try to buy a lot of time around altar phases so that he can start to post up more. But he may just be going for a hat build anyway, looking at pressurized clans at 1.
I mean, I generally like that talent, just period.
Even if you go into
any build I'm going, I'm probably going to go that at 1. I think it helps a lot when it comes to just the skirmishing and also a bit on wave clear, depending on the situation. Trading out on the front walls here, common when you see Abathurs because, again, the weak early game that he has.
But Superstars are the first ones to break away slightly. Zeratil's already moving up. Varian is going into the mid. This is a bell tower for for Team Freedom. Almost certainly, Superstars are trying to work on getting one of their own, but the faster rotation, or for Superstars, at least enables them to make sure they're soaking all the lanes.
Yeah, it's going to be a slow and steady trade here for Superstars. They do end up losing the initial race, but luckily, because they're on opposite sides of the map, they buy enough time and a slight experience advantage by the rotation from Variant.
I think that is resistant at level 1. Yes.
It sure is.
Sunder rooted while in siege mode, granting 50 armor for 3 seconds. So that's the key that Freedom have to work around. Because as Fan has shown us versus Tempo Storm, that talent is very annoying.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. 50% damage reduction is, it's just, it is insane. It's just, if you can gain a lot of value, multiple stacks back to back. I mean, we see it when Ragnaros, right on initial release, had that exact same ability. And teams would try and chain stun him down, and it's like, oh, thanks for the 50% damage reduction forever.
I don't know, though, if it will be as effective here. Not only because, like you said, Arthas can avoid rooting, but Lunara can also, Thornwood Vine at 10, just constantly hit Sergeant Hammer until the collapse can come in and it won't matter as much because she can be brought down.
Yeah, that's a really good point you bring up. Freedom has managed to get the first channel. Trades on the shots. Faye there gets stunned. Not stunned yet. Good zoning happening here for the teams. Goku moves down, gets the delay there on to Collusion. Insomnia trying to peel. Goku gets the teleport out, drops Vorpal as well. So a couple of seconds for the mobility to be back up here as Icona and Hosty started. Looks like they're going to pick up the shots. Understandably so, considering, again, the Abathur. You always got to give up objectives very early on whenever you have him on your team.
The collapse was excellent from Superstars 2 to make sure that nobody from Freedom could steal the altar before all of Superstars were in position. But the amount of time that Superstars took to make sure that they were picking up that altar did net a level lead for Team Freedom, especially with Freedom getting their bell tower back too. So Superstars has to clean up during this time.
Goku here on top. Faye now moving down below to get the defense. I did expect more pressure on bottom here for Superstars. With the Sergeant Hammer to kind of run a really dominant try, and then that weird gang squad between the Varian and the Zeratil, but they instead just kind of let it go. They're kind of just trying to figure out their lane rotations themselves, it seems like, because Goku going back to top to restore that bell tower over to his team.
Yeah, and it's taking some time, and that is nice. Howling Blast follow-up from Burrow Charge 2. Faye, armor or not, gets taken out there. And Hosty might even go down too.
It's not good. to lose early game kills. Oh man, Iacona falls down here as well. Beautiful stacking of CC, but if that has happened into an Abathur composition this very early on, I mean, you should always have a advantage over an Abathur comp pre-10. It just, across the board, you should be able to abuse the map that well. And the fact that we don't see that, it's a grim next couple of minutes here for Superstars.
Yeah, 5 bell towers, 6 bell towers, 6 shots, that is, until Superstars can try to take this one over. They're trying desperately to do that before the altar spawns. That was huge that they could at least take down one of these, but bottom is still going to net an extra shot for Team Freedom should they pick up the altar, and there is no one in position at all for Superstars to defend.
So if you're Freedom now, all you do is get these shots, and then you just rotate the map with your 10 advantage whenever you pick it up. This front wall on mid should get you just barely in range, but they're going to back out. The rotations here, even showing 2 on bottom, they've got to find a way to be able to abuse that and catch up in this experience. And it looks like they are going to instead defend on bottom, and that is, with this type of composition, I guess more acceptable of a strategy with this big of a lead, purely based on the fact that Abathur then can split push all day.
Abathur also took Mule at 7, so this is full on. We will run the bell tower game all the way to ending this and taking you to game number 5. What does Superstars do?
You void, you win the team fight. That's all you can really bank on, is just forcing hard, not letting Abathur get that split pressure outward. But until you get 10, you can't do anything about it. Zeratul is getting that side soak. They're trying to rid of these sappers. As we see Faye there getting as much damage out, she will be able to get rid of them. It's a beauty of Sergeant Hammer defensively and offensively. And look at Zeratul. Zeratul, oh, he's going to get him. Oh, maybe.
Hello, Nasmus. Goku jumps in, dives on out.
Good thing you had your jammies on, because we're going to put you to sleep, boy.
But talk about salt to the wound. Seeing a mule on your structure for your opponents, that would make me mad.
It is frustrating. Everything about the composition that Freedom has built, maybe not Gale Force Esports level frustrating as we experienced yesterday with their Zagara composition, but it is, you know, anytime you get that, especially if you get a bell tower low, like below 50% and you see the mule drop, you're like, guys, rid of the mule, rid of the mule, rid of the mule. But you can't focus on it too much or you give up way too much elsewhere on the map. So this is where Superstars can step things up. I thought we would see a BFG, to be honest, from the Superstars as a follow-up to Void and a kill potential on any taunt target.
Ooh, full Korea style.
Yeah,
I love it.
I actually really love the BFG. The more I've seen it, the more sold on it I am. But either way, still going to be a solid opportunity in this team fight. But this is where Superstars need to start coming back now that they have the 10 spike. They have their heroics. They should be winning these team fights. Double Arthas out.
There's going to be the dive. Dive goes in on several of the members. Faye's backing up, so is Hosty. Twilight Dream hits a new Barak. He'll go down the first blood, but Zarya falls too.
Nasmus there slowing the members. Srey actually, ooh, Howling Blast on the Goku after the Void is used. Vorpal teleport right on out of their face. Still posted up. Srey got the taunt. Dansky way too low. Ancestral, it's going to work for now, but keep in mind we still have 1-for-1 trade. Abathur pressuring the map elsewhere, but he will not be able to get any front walls or forts out of this. So Superstars picking up another objective, making things work here into this composition. We're about 2 to 3 minutes out before Abathur becoming a tear onto the map, and his control should be able to be overwhelming on how fast he can gain experience for his team over that of Superstars.
And judging by that fight, Team Freedom can waste a lot of time for Superstars around the altars. They're going to try to continue to siege here in the bottom lane, not allowing Superstars to get any presence in the lane. And the better that Freedom can do this is it gives all sorts of benefits. Obviously, the Abathur push too once altar phases starts, but even just making Superstars more fearful of that, staying in lanes longer, and giving Freedom the better setup around altars too.
I'm trying to figure out what Goku's doing. He's ganking again. He's just patiently waiting.
If that gets picked up?
He's trying to see if anybody walked by. Okay, he's not going for Nasmus once more. And he's got the mines down this time. He's a bit safer for the Worm Hunter that is Goku.
13 almost here for Team Freedom. We'll see what Abathur wants to grab here. That's the talent I'm looking out for. So Locust focused from here on out.
Locust focused. I like that.
Thank you.
You had another one earlier today. I don't remember what it was, but it rhymed as well. It was pretty neat. Insomnia did get taunted. Nobody there to be able to do the damage. Until 16 hits, Hammer isn't a very good follow-up. She's just very good when she knows where she's going. Beautiful Howling Blast onto Iacona. Double knock-up. Can they get it?
Hosty's still protecting. There's no expulsion zone, though, to help.
Oh, that cleanse, though, barely gets him out, but then the last tick of the Howling Blast gets the pick.
Ancestral Healing keeps Zugrug alive long enough to step away from this situation. No Zarya for 20 seconds as altars spawn. Goku quickly makes the rotation up to top. He's trying to get this. Gona might move in too to see if he can root and stop, but Dainsky has so much range with Thornwood Vine that Superstars can't pick up their own safe altar before Freedom makes the rotation.
The Void is still a thing here as it is yet to be used. A lot of the heroics on the side of Freedom, they do still have Ultimate Evolution. And in a moment, we're going to take it back to appreciate the, oh man, Nasmus there. Ends up losing it, a lot of damage. Insomnia is in a bad spot though, Gilly.
He is. He's trying to back on out. Has the Carapace from Abathur to help slightly. But Superstars stave off Team Freedom's aggression yet again to make sure they can keep things even with the altars.
I'm surprised that we have seen less pressure on the map out of the Abathur pick. It's not been mind focused where you can see the dismounting and the control of rotations, but also just in team fighting, he's never left mid, just period. You know, he's never taken advantage of when he knows where Goku is. He's just casually like, this is my fort, this is where I belong. You know, if it fits, I sits type deal.
And he does fit quite nicely there in between the fort and the gate. It did take a while for Goku to show in that last fight. He sat around, watched, tried to see who was going to step forward from Freedom before he finally showed himself. Maybe it just was long enough that Nasmus was like, well, I'll just push this lane where my comfort home is.
Oh, that was not worth forcing a Void just to get a sidewall so later he can put more pressure onto the casually remaining on mid Abathur. Goku's not going to have that for another 88 seconds. Will Freedom do anything about it, though? You can see they feel like they want to try and take the fight. Superstars not letting him have it, just stepping back a smidge. Only 3 difference when it comes to the core HP, 3 difference when it comes to the kills as well.
Yeah, it's been a very close game thus far, but Superstars is ramping Sergeant Hammer up more and more. She now has Giant Killer. We'll see what is grabbed at 16. There are several options there, but there are ways out from that. Freedom closing in on it, just slightly ahead.
Abathur, Zeratul, Goku, oh man. Goku's doing a very good job on the Zeratul to take care of the Abathur's soaking to where he's not really giving a far enough advantage, but also, again, the patience, he's never body soaking. And when team fights are happening, he's always got to use the hat to be able to complement the team fight. Then he's using Ultimate Evolution. So until 16 comes online, the idea is he's just going to burrow, drop Locust, then back, and then clone.
It's more about having the pressure, controlling the bell towers, than necessarily getting far ahead in the experience game.
Zugrug gets a delay here. Channel's going to start. Rhaegar gets it.
The fight's happening up on top, though. Insomnia is in a great position, as is Dainsky, as he throws out another Thornwood Vine, and Goku and Strayu are fairly low on health, have to give up this top altar. So 2 of the altars now grabbed for Team Freedom. They're turning their sights to the boss.
And with 3 members showing on bottom, they know this is pretty much going to be free. They have 16 talents here. For the first time this game, have an advantage when it comes to their core HP. These 4 more shots are going to lock it in their 20 to 15 on the core health. Freedom here with their Abathur composition is in a fine spot to be able to take the game. And that Mule just sitting barely out of phaser auto attack range.
Level 16 for Sergeant Hammer, graduating range. Oh, and the fight is breaking out. We'll see if it's going to work out for her. She is sieged up and starting to throw damage. Goku, Void Prisons with an expulsion zone underneath too.
Yeah, has to drop that just to keep himself alive. The second time that has happened here in this game. First one's a little bit more ridiculous there than the second. Abathur's got the double Locust. This is, you know, Freedom is in a perfect position. You know, they did everything they needed to do in the early game with an Abathur comp, not fall behind at all. Superstars gave them a lot with the beauty of the Arthas chase and the Arthas hat. and it got them a lot of kills. And now they should be able to kind of completely dictate all rotations on the side of Superstars.
Yeah, they pushed top, but Superstars responded correctly and pushed the bottom too. Anubarak taunted in the middle of Superstars. Twilight Dream secures that kill too. Can they get more? They are going to steal the camp. Arthas is zoned away from with Expulsion Zone. He'll get taken out, so will the clone. All the members of Superstars healthy, and they are going to use this body advantage, first of all, to try to kill Collusion on Rhaegar.
Oh, the taunt lands. The root zones him off. Collusion falls as well. 3 sappers are going to move up here. Will we see Lunara be able to stop them? Lunara's going to be able to stop the sappers at least. Oh, look at Icona turns back, trying to zone off. Oh, he gets it.
Nice. Nice job, Icona.
Supports are OP, obviously. They can trade up into the Assassin.
So Freedom made the choice to not get mid. They wanted to rotate down and try to win the team fight over Superstars. That did not work out. 2 altars spawned at the same time. Superstars controlled all the bell towers. That top bell tower was never close enough, even though Abathur has been putting a lot of focus down, and that has made Superstars jump ahead in core health.
Yeah, again, the fact that they've picked a Locust 13-16 and not a single time this game have you felt like, oh, this fort's dead, purely based on the fact that we picked an Abathur is a huge problem.
Yeah, the one place where maybe Abathur could have gotten something done was bottom, and so I like that rotation from Superstars to say, well, if we take the bell tower here, then that's going to be extra health, and then Abathur has a harder time trying to push this down.
So then, man, what does Freedom really do? You know, the fact that they're low enough now that core HP is going to be a major problem, and unless Abathur starts getting to a position to apply the proper amount of pressure onto the map, he doesn't do enough in team fighting to justify. That's, you know, the crux of picking Abathur is you're banking on a couple of things to be true, and that is one, that your pressure is going to be relevant enough late game that your weak early game is justified, and that your team fight doesn't really stand until 20, or if your ult is being used.
Well, they're trying to at least keep this bell tower alive, but with Mule on it, but Faye now super range will take it down. Mid's been grabbed back. Freedom are having to constantly clean up their base, and now they're gonna have to fight for their lives.
Sappers are going to pressure on bottom as well. Abathur's going to have to do his best to drop the Locust and kind of buy time in that department. Top Sappers for Freedom will be collected, but again, without that control of the bell tower, not nearly as relevant. So here we go. 5 shots available per channel for Superstars. Not going to have the 20 yet.
Yeah, they're not looking super greedy. They're just sending someone over now to delay once, but way more focused on getting their own bell tower. Now they can start to move in.
There's a clone. Banner dropped. It's going to be cleared by Insomnia. Goku gets revealed. Faye dropping very, very low. Hosi as well. Nasmus is just a clone, so this is going to be fine. Taunt was used. Void as well. No kills yet, though.
This is going to have to back off of the Void, and that puts Zarya in a really tough spot as all of the members of Team Freedom turn around and focus her down. Superstars run away.
Oh, man. That burrow? Knockup's going to be there soon. Howling Blast hitting both. Twilight Dream to get the peel. Beautiful knockup from the Anubarak here. Taunt trying to peel off. It does buy Faye enough time. Ancestral is going to secure the dive here onto Insomnia. 3 members are dead on the side of Superstars, 20 advantage. So when we see Freedom fall down to 1 core HP, they suddenly gain a lot more control in this game. Mid and top bell tower, they wipe that fight, and now they have a huge opportunity with 1%, 1 shot left on the core.
I would equate this to a very well-stacked Jenga block.
Okay.
I'm serious, they had for so long been working on this top bell tower. Mid was really low and Superstars kept it alive. Bottom was very low and Superstars kept it alive. And then with one perfect swoop, one team fight win that took Team Freedom right up to the mid bell tower, all of a sudden the Jenga tower toppled over. And now Superstars, they are still ahead in core health, majorly, 11-1. That's very nice for them, but they lost all of their bell towers. So this is a great point for Team Freedom if they want to make that miracle Towers of Doom comeback that we know and love.
Abathur is now, he has Hive Mind, so he's effective even outside of just his heroic choice. Between the Anubarak and the Arthas, if they dive on the backline at all, it is just going to be near impossible to be able to deal with him. Iacona, I think, has a lot of pressure on him to have the Twilight Dream of the Sentry if they get aggressive on Faye once more. So one channel onto bottom in 15 seconds. That is going to mean not lethal for either side, at least not yet. The top sapper will be 3 shots, but it's a long ways for it to move in, so it might not even be relevant, at least not yet.
It is lethal if Superstars get the channel.
Oh, good call. You know, that's a 1% on the core. I meant more for Freedom here.
Yeah.
They don't have the opportunity to end the game even with the extra bell towers.
So Freedom must win this fight.
But if top shots go in, it's lethal now. Holy cow.
Oh my, this is getting crazy. Nasmus is jumping in the back line, but that is just the clone. Expulsion zone zones away Zugrug, so the Team Freedom is trying to dive into on Srey. Void Prison hits several of the members. Superstars trying to burn down Twilight Dream, but Zugrug burrows away in time.
The Void is already going to be used. Everybody, Zugrug starts the channel. Srey begins to panic. It doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to stop him. Goku gets the delay. Oh my! Everybody here for Freedom falling low, below 50% HP. Goku panicking, trying to stop them. Faye with the graduating range gets the delay, and Goku makes it out somehow. Ice block to stop the poison. Iacona survives.
Perfect positioning from Faye. She can sit here all day, and Team Freedom have to back off. They're trying to heal up, regroup, get back in. There's still no Varian for so long. He is out of this fight.
The clone is going to be back up here and be able to apply so much pressure. Faye just wailing away. Goku cannot get the kill. The poison ticking, and Iacona and Faye, they go down. This is the opportunity that Freedom needed, and it looks like they will be able to make the plays here as they are going to start the channel.
Back and forth all game long, but Team Freedom with one amazing fight, able to take so many bell towers, put so much pressure on Superstars, and then with one more fight, seal the deal. Team Freedom tie things up, and we are going to game number 5.
Just insane. The fact that they were so many amazing things coming up from Freedom. Like at first they were such a dominant early game when they shouldn't have with their composition. Then they had a weak mid game, which is where they should have started getting their control.
Yeah.
And then suddenly somewhere at the very end, pre-20 winning one fight, and then it just snowballed to where there was nothing that really Superstars could do.
It was the point where Superstars were defending all of their bell towers by taking the bell towers of Team Freedom felt like a double-edged sword, because those were so low consistently that it was always a breaking point for Freedom if they could just win. But it felt like Superstars had so much momentum, 11 core health to 1, that they'd be able to close it out.
Yeah, you would think so, you know, but it comes down to if you have the opportunity to be able to win those fights. In late game, they very much could not deal with what Abathur was able to provide. And I'm just so amazed at how little pressure it felt like Abathur had until it absolutely needed to exist, and then suddenly the dance around trying to convert all the bell towers, Abathur was conveniently like, "Nah, guys, I got this. You keep doing your thing. I will be able to control the map."
Well, with that, Team Freedom have tied things up. We're going to take a break. When we return, we will see who will win this crazy series.
Fresh meat.
Marines are the toughest frag magnets in the galaxy. But when they're in trouble, guess who they call? Medic! Winning a battle is more than just shooting enemy soldiers. It's about saving your own. I protect every member of my squad with my life. Sometimes I think I'm the only thing holding them together. Who am I? I'm Lieutenant Morales. I'm your medic. I'm gonna need a lot of bandages.
Stitches was sad.